Well, hi everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the Social Strategy Mum podcast or live show. Thank you so much for joining me, whether you are watching or listening. I'm super excited to be here with you. Episode 20. I am excited that we have made it to 20 and that I've had 20 opportunities to share with you through the live show and the podcast. So let's get cracking into today's episode. I want to talk to you about the three most common objections that people have when it comes to buying pretty much anything. This is when it comes to buying products, when it comes to buying courses, when it comes to buying coaching, all of those kinds of things. Really, every objection, no matter how the customer or client says it, come down to three pretty common themes. And so I want to take you through, chat a little bit about each of those themes, and then have the opportunity to give you some ideas for how you might be able to overcome those objections easily and actually build how you're overcoming those objections into your sales pages, into your social media posts, into the way that you talk about your offer so that they don't even come up in the first place, because people are feeling really, really content with everything that they've heard already. So let's get into it and let's talk about the three biggest objections. Number one, it's all about the money. So the number one reason that people will balk at the idea of buying something ultimately comes down to money. And when it comes to objections about money, it can be framed in a whole lot of different ways. For some people, it's, I don't have the money right now. For some people, it's, I'm not sure if I want to invest in this. For some people, it's blah, 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 a whole lot of different things. It's too expensive. It's too cheap. Maybe it's not worthwhile. All of those kinds of things. What I want to say to you is, when it comes to money objections, there's a few things that you can do right from the get-go to overcome those objections, hopefully before they even appear. So, number one, I want you to think about the way you talk about the value that you are offering. Think about the way that you are positioning what you offer so that the value is really obvious to people. People want to know the outcomes. When it comes to a product or it comes to a course or it comes to coaching, no matter what it is, they want to know the outcomes. You're going to be tempted to sit there and tell them all the features that they're going to get. We're going to get coaching calls, or you're going to get this such and such a product. But really, in the end, what they actually are going to receive, they kind of don't really care about. What they care about is what happens after. They care about the transformation that you are going to take them through. They care about the endpoint, where they're going to end up afterwards. And so make sure that when you're talking about the value of your product or service, that you're talking about it in terms of the outcomes and the benefits that they're going to get, rather than the features. That's point number one when it comes to overcoming this objection of money. Point number two is, consider something like a payment plan. So if this is a higher cost option, particularly a service or maybe a course or a coaching package, think about whether you can offer a payment plan to people. This feels so much more easily achievable for people, particularly if they really do feel strapped for cash. They might be, they might not be, that's not ours to judge. But when they feel like the commitment is big for them and financially it's going to stretch them, having a payment plan can be a really, really great way for people to be able to come on board, but also to feel like they're managing their cash flow. So think about whether you can include a payment plan. Some people like to just put the payment plan out there up front. I'm one of those. I would prefer to just have it available right from the start. But for other people, they'll add it as an incentive down the track. They might add it in a few days into their open cart, for example, if they're going through a course launch or something. But think about how maybe a payment plan might work for your particular offer. So we talked about the value and the outcomes and benefits. We've talked about payment plans. Then the third one that I want to talk about when it comes to overcoming money objections is a refund policy. I want you to think really carefully about your refund policy. And I want to just put a couple of caveats around this. Firstly, I would always suggest that you get independent legal advice to ensure that your refund policy is legal wherever it is that you are operating your business. It would be too voluminous for me to go through and try and explain that for all of the different places in Australia, much less anywhere else. But make sure that you are compliant with regulations and the legal side of refund policies first. Second, the idea of having a refund policy is that you're giving people the opportunity to come in a way that they feel is less risk. Because right now, it's likely that they've got some concerns. They might be money concerns, they might be time concerns, they might be some of the other concerns we're going to talk about as it comes through, as we go through this objection, chat. But sometimes a refund policy is enough for people to feel safe to jump in. And so it can be really worthwhile to think through what you're required to have by law in terms of a refund policy, but then what is also going to help get people over the line, the right people over the line, to buy whatever it is that you are offering. So think about the value, think about payment plans, and think about refund policies, because they're the kind of things that reassure people who have monetary objections. And they are literally the number one objection that you are probably going to see in your business. Let's move on to objection number 2. And this is an objection about commitment or time required. And I hear this quite a lot, and I totally understand it, because my ideal clients are busy mums building businesses. We do not have time on tap. A lot of us are building our businesses in the sneaky moments that we can steal away from kids, away from jobs, away from family, away from mum life, all of those kinds of things. And so being able to give over a hunk of time in order to do something is literally impossible. So I often find that when I talk to people about why they haven't bought or why they are hesitating to buy, it comes down to the time needed or the time commitment that they feel it's going to be in order to do something. Now, what we need to do is allow people the opportunity to have these conversations and let us know that that is what they are worried about. But then also we need to give them really realistic information about how much time it is actually going to take them. I would never advocate telling someone that it's only going to take them a short amount of time if it isn't, if it actually is going to be an investment of their time. You might want to circle back and focus again on the value that they're going to get and the transformation that they're going to get, because that's going to help to overcome this objection of time and commitment. Because if they feel like the outcome is worthwhile, they're going to be willing to commit the time that's needed in order to do it. The other thing that you can do to make sure that people really understand the level of time commitment and that they're not being scared off at the prospect of hours a week that just isn't reality is to give them some more information about the way that you work or the way that the program that you are selling works. Give them a really good idea of the time commitment that previous students have had to take, or the time commitment that previous coaching clients have felt they needed to commit to it in order for it to be worthwhile. The last thing we want is for people to jump in and then not have the time to do it, because in the end, we're not able to serve them and they're not able to get the benefit and the value that they paid for. So having this really open, honest conversation about that can be really helpful. The other thing that I want to add here, and we'll talk more about testimonials in a second, is that sometimes testimonials can really help people overcome this objection. Particularly for me when it comes to Social Strategy Foundations, the group coaching program, that's doors are open right now. I find that a lot of mums in business, because that's who I serve, Talk to me about how they're concerned about making it to the coaching calls and being able to work through the modules, and will they really have the time to go through the learning and the implementation of the course. And so I talk to them about things like having coaching calls at different times of the day, having our coaching calls recorded so they can catch up on them later, taking questions ahead of time for the coaching calls so that if they don't make it, they still get their question answered, having a Facebook group so that they can ask their questions whenever it's actually convenient for them. They can be on their phone doing something else and just quickly pop in whatever questions they've got. I talk to them about how long the video lessons are and how much time it's going to take them each week. And I have testimonials from past students where they talk directly about the commitment of time that they've had to put in, because it is a coaching program and there is going to be an investment of time. But helping people to see that other people have been able to do it, helping people to see the value that they're going to get, and then being realistic about the time frame that's actually required is the best way to be able to overcome that really, really common objection of, do I have the time? Am I able to make the commitment? All right, so now we're going to move on to objection number 3. And this objection is, but will it work for me? Now, this is a really common objection. It's common in product-based businesses. It's common in service-based businesses, coaching, courses, you name it. At some point, every business owner is probably going to hear this objection. What this really comes down to is someone saying, yeah, it all sounds great. I love the idea, but will I get the outcome? Or will I see the benefits that you're talking about? Or will this really work for me because? And often we can insert here a lot of reasons why they think it's not going to work. You know, I don't have the time. I've got the kids at home with me. My skin's different, you know, to somebody else's. I don't have the ability to do X, Y, and Z. So really what it comes down to is wondering whether they're themselves in their own unique situation can make whatever product or service or course or coaching package work for them. The best way to overcome this objection is to offer them a range of testimonials. This is part of the power of testimonials, and I did a whole episode on the power of testimonials. But what we need to do here is show people success from a whole range of different people. For example, if you are selling a beauty product, an eco-friendly beauty product, like my amazing friend Chloe at Rebel Eco does. Say she's selling an amazing beauty product. What we want to do is offer people testimonials of that beauty product, but we don't want to just offer one. We want to offer a few different ones to show people that this product has worked for different people. And we want those testimonials to talk about how these people are different. So somebody might talk about how it's worked for them, even though they have terribly oily skin. Someone might talk about how it's worked for them, even though they really struggle with hormonal acne breakouts. We might talk about and have somebody have a testimonial where they talk about how it's so quick and simple and easy to use that they've managed to fit it in before bed each night, because that's going to be a big objection for someone like me out there who doesn't have all the time in the world and isn't sure that they want to commit to this whole new beauty regime. So that's an example of how we can use testimonials and a range of testimonials when it comes to a product-based business. For me, for the group coaching program, I use a range of testimonials of different people at different points in their business, people that have come in with different struggles, people that have taken away different things from the program. But basically, I offer people the opportunity to see themselves in the person that's giving the testimonial, honestly and openly, for them to connect with that person who's giving the testimonial and see the opportunity and the ability for the program to serve them in a similar way as the person that is chatting about that testimonial or who has written that testimonial. So when it comes to this idea of, but will it work for me? Testimonials are super, super powerful. The other thing that you want to have there is answers to really common questions and the ability for people to connect with you. As I said a little bit earlier, when it comes to those higher cost programs, courses, whatever it might be, having the opportunity for someone to actually have a conversation with you and get more information is so super important. There's nothing better than getting on a call and chatting to someone and hearing their objections and being able to really connectively chat with them about what it is that's holding them back, about whether what you're selling is right for them, because it might not be. And if you know that, then you owe it to them to let them know. But then also to chat to them about how they can make it work and how you'll make it work together. So think about adding that human connection. Think about the fact that conversations equal conversions, and that putting the human piece into your marketing makes it highly, highly effective. Think about the testimonials. Think about the opportunities to connect with people and to have those conversations, because they're the best ways to overcome that objection of, but will it work for me? All right, so we've covered off the biggest 3 objections that people see in their businesses. People are worried about money. People are worried about the time and commitment, and people are worried that something won't work for them. So have a think about how you can build in those pieces to overcome those objections before you even put your offer out there. Build them into the sales page, build them into your website, build them into your social media copy, build them into your video marketing. Start talking about them from the get-go so that by the time you put something in front of someone that asks them to buy, all of those questions and queries and concerns and worries have already been put to bed, because you've overcome those objections and you've given them the information that they need in order to be able to make an informed and confident decision that whatever you're offering them is actually what they need right now. All right, I'm going to leave it there. They are the 3 most common objections and some great tactics for helping people to move through those objections. I really hope that that is helpful to you. Before I go, I just want to let you know that tomorrow night I am hosting a one-off workshop. This is not a webinar, people. This is a turn up and do the work workshop. It is 1 month of social media content created with me and the other ladies in the room in 1 hour. We are going to plan out your content for the month. We're going to create your content for the month. You're going to walk away and be able to implement and schedule this type of content so that you can keep your business moving forward and you're not wasting all of your time on your content creation for social media. If you want to come along to this workshop, be right there with me. I'm going to take you through the prompts. You are going to actually create the content, people. This is not just sit there and listen to me rack on for an hour. This is all about you actually doing the work right there with me. You can ask me questions. I'll be adding in tips and tricks when it comes to platforms and content ideas and all of those kinds of things. We can literally work together. It's basically a group coaching session in the form of a workshop that you get for absolutely free. So if you want to join me tomorrow night for that workshop, make sure that you click the link that is going to be located nearby. And if you're someone out there who's been listening to me talk about my Social Strategy Foundation's group coaching program and thinking, this might just be what I need. If you have at any point thought, maybe it's for me, maybe I should find out more, reach out to me right now, because the doors close Friday, 14th of February, Valentine's Day. And they will not be reopening for at least a couple of months. So if you want more information, we can connect and have a conversation, and I can answer your questions, talk about your objections, give you all the information. Make sure that you reach out to me right now so that you do not miss the opportunity to be part of that. All right, I'm leaving it there. That's it for another episode. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.